We are live. Hey, guys. Oh, I'm so excited. We are back again with another one. Hey, this is Intentional Living Podcast with Sonja W. And I'm back to assist you with starting off your week with a little less chaos. Okay. So listen, y'all, I am super excited. I can't wait to break down and get into those 5 things that we talk about every single week. Okay. But as y'all are coming in, as y'all are waking up, go ahead. Let me see you in the chat. Say hi. So excited that you guys are here. So listen. I'm excited because we are getting back into the still process, which I talked about a couple of weeks ago. I started walking through that. Okay. So we're going to get into that. But before we do all of that, let's get into the things that we do every single week. Good morning. So excited that you're here. So yes. All right. Let's get into it, right into it. Because listen, I am going to end this in less than 20 minutes because I keep telling y'all that we're going to do this in 20 minutes. And then I start to talk. And then we don't end up doing it in 20 minutes. We do it in like 21. We do it in 22. But I really want to actually end in 20 minutes today. All right. You will keep me accountable? All right, good. So let's get into it. What is your one good thing? As I talk about every single week, and I'm going to talk about it every single week, is that it's so important that you have the right mindset when building out your weekly review, when setting up your week for success, right? So I always like to start off with that attitude of gratitude, that thankfulness, right? And one thing that was a good thing for me. So tell me your one good thing this past week. And while you're at it, you can go ahead and start telling me what's on the docket. If you're catching the replay or you're not seeing me dance right now because you're listening to me on Spotify, go in the comments. Let me know what your one good thing is. Let me know what's on the docket, what you plan to do for this week. Okay. So let me tell you my one good thing. I had some fun out on the town on Friday night. That was my one good thing. I actually hung out with one of my good girlfriends. We went to a restaurant, had some really good food, and then we went to the CIAA tournament, the basketball game on Friday night. So excited that I got a chance to do that. I really like going to like basketball games and different sporting events every now and again. Now, I'm not a sports fanatic, but it's fun. Right. And I haven't been able to get to a game in a long time. So when my friend had some free tickets to CIAA, listen, I jumped on it. Jumped on it. So I had a really good time. And I think it's just important. That's one of the things that I talk about. If you've been following me for a while, you know I talk about having a life plan and that you have to cultivate those 6 key relationships in your life. And one of those key relationships is your friendships, right? So I try really hard to make sure that I'm cultivating those close relationships with my girlfriends, with the people in my life. Okay. So that was my one good thing. And it was great. I had fun. How about you? What was your one good thing? Tell me down in the comments below if you're catching the replay or if you're with me live. Go ahead and let me know. And then we have what is on the docket. Okay. So every week, we like to just talk a couple of minutes about the things that we got planned for the week. Okay. So, what's your plans for the week? What do you plan to get accomplished this week? Because it's so important that you take some time to think about, well, what is that one thing? Or what are those 3 things that if I get them done, I am going to get it. It's going to be amazing. I have won. Oh, we got a one good thing. Somebody signed on with a new company. Congrats to you. I love it. If you're catching the replay, I just shout out somebody who actually joined a new company. So congrats to you, my friend. Awesome. But yes, it's so important that you lay out at least 3 things that you want to accomplish so that, and one of the reasons is, you got your to-do list all the time, right? You have your list from A to Z. And sometimes you do really well and you knock them all out. Sometimes you don't do so well at all and you knock none of them out, right? Well, this idea of kind of highlighting three major things gives you focus for the week, because sometimes you could just be so overwhelmed with all of the different tasks that you have said you wanted to get done this week, right? But if you can focus on three things, just three things, and you get those three things done, man, you can pat yourself on the back. I just stopped to pat myself on the back. But yes, so for me, what's on the docket? There's several things, but one of the big things that I have on the docket is actually building out a new biblical affirmation template. So one thing that I think is so important is how we speak to ourselves, right? There's power in our words. As you know, I love Jesus. I do. So the word says that there's the power of life and death is in your tongue. So I take that really, really seriously. And I try very hard to only speak life, right? And definitely speak life over myself. Because honestly, there's been years where I did not speak life over myself, right? So I have some affirmations, biblical affirmations that I speak every single morning. And I've been starting to share them a little bit on social media. If you don't follow me, I'm SonjaWCoaching on all platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And I have started to kind of post my affirmations just to share. And I realized that, we got so many people out here saying, speak well over yourself, say good things, right? But I think we're missing a key part in that, right? That if our words are powerful, and if the promises of God are true and powerful, then what in the world would it be like if we combine those two and created biblical affirmations that allow us to really hone in on what is true about us, right? So I wanted to build out that template. So I'm going to do that. And I'm actually going to offer that to my email list. So if you're not on the email list, you should get on the email list. You should get on the email list. I mean, we be having fun over here. We, got emails every week where I boost you up for your week. I get you excited to get your week done, So join the email list. Okay? Yes. So you can join the email list. Links below on wherever you're listening to this. If you're listening to this on Spotify, there's a link down below in the show notes. If you're watching this on the replay, it's in the comments. So go ahead and do that. Okay. But anyway, I'm really excited on building it out. I'm gonna try to make it pretty. That's the one thing I need to get some artists, because I don't even know how to make things real pretty, but it'll be pretty for y'all. It will be. All right. So let's get into this intentional topic of the week. All right. So we are back at it with the still process. If you've been following me from the start, I started to talk about this 4-step process that I love to implement with anybody that I'm working with. I implement in my own life daily. I was hesitating on daily because I'm like, do I do these things daily? And I actually do. Different parts of this. And this still process, or stairwell to intentional living process, is these 4 steps that I believe are needed to truly live your life intentionally. First, there's acknowledging your dreams. And I talked about that a few weeks ago. Then the second one is living by principle. And I started to talk about it a couple of weeks ago, but then I wanted to finish today because, like I said, I'm a chatty Cathy. I like to talk. I do. It's fun. Um, but I started to talk about that living by principle and the whole premise of the idea of living by some core values, some core things that you want to see in your life. Your big audacious dreams in the 6 key relationships that you have to cultivate in your life. I truly believe that there's at least 6 key relationships that you must cultivate, and I talk about that in that last podcast. Also, I actually have a video all about it on my YouTube channel, SonjaWCoaching. So if you want to see it in visual form, you can go over there and check it out too. It's the actual featured video on the channel, but besides the point. And then the third one is execute by process. So building processes in your life to be able to execute on those dreams and execute on making those goals and those desires come together, right? Because we figure out where we are, and then we know where we want to go, right? So that executing by process closes the gap, and we're going to talk about that next week. And then finally, winning by practice, actually building a practice of doing these processes and all these different things on a regular basis, building systems in your life so it's easy to do, right? This podcast is a system for me, right? I am doing this podcast a little bit selfishly, but also because I love to talk about these things and love to help other people. But this is also a way for me to kind of set up my own week, right? I do the podcast, then I do my weekly review, and then I get going with my day, right? So it helps me. It's building a system that allows me to do the things that I desire to do. So that's what we'll be talking about. But today, we're going to be talking about the second part of living by principle, and that focus is to say yes to where you are. But first, little story time, okay? So I think we like to sugarcoat and cover up the realness of where we are, and that is to our detriment. And that's why I want us to truly say yes to where we are right now. And this saying yes is actually acknowledging where you are, acknowledging your status, acknowledging, whatever is going on in your body so that you can truly establish where you are and actually understand, okay, how far am I from my dream? But like I said, story time. So I like to work out hard. I don't like to run. Never did. I tried to be a runner girly. It's not something that I've decided it's not it. It's not it. So lifting. Used to lift real heavy, used to do all the Zumba classes, all the dance classes, because they were fun for me, right? Then I injured my knee. I don't even remember when I injured my knee because this is a reoccurring cycle, okay? I injured my knee. I went to physical therapy. I did all the exercises. I felt better. And then I went right back to lifting heavy and doing all the dancing and all the different things. And then I hurt my knee again. And this was a cycle that I continued to go down, right? I would hurt my knee, go to physical therapy, do the exercises, then go right back to doing what I was always doing, and then be surprised and annoyed when I have to stop completely because I'm hurt again, right? So this was a cycle that kind of went on until honestly last year. Which is ridiculous, right? And it went on until last year when I actually sat down and really took my own advice and said yes to where I was. I took the time in my quarterly reset. And this is a system that I built where, it takes some time every quarter and a little bit more time every year to just reset everything, review my life plan, really look at where I am and acknowledge where I am. And that's the whole point to saying yes to where you are. It's to acknowledge where you are, sit with that. Ask yourself the hard questions and then be able to move forward in life, right? And I had to do that. I finally really did it. Like, how you do things, but you don't really do them. That was me, right? Because of course, every quarter, every year, I'm like, hurt my knee again. It's whatever. It is what it is. But it wasn't until last year where I actually really sat down and said yes, accepting and acknowledging where I was with my knee, that I made a change. And when I did that, I realized I couldn't do it alone. I realized that I had to get help. And that's where I got an actual trainer that knows, that works with like physical therapy and all that kind of stuff. So he like knows all of that stuff, and he has actually helped me rehabilitate my knee. And now I don't have any pain unless I be dumb and be, dancing a little too much, or or not doing my exercises and my stretches like I'm supposed to, right? Yeah, no. But now I don't have that regular pain that I had to live with, because I said yes to where I was. Saying yes included accepting and acknowledging where I was, and then taking a sober look at what I need to get past it. So that is how I was able to slow down and assess for real where I was. And that's where I encourage you to do. I encourage you to take the time to truly say yes to where you are. Let me give you 3 quick things, and then I'm gonna be out your hair. Okay. So 3 quick things. Know where you want to go. Now, this part is the whole living by principle, the start of living by principle. You've acknowledged your dreams, right? Now you're starting to really cultivate those 6 relationships, figuring out where exactly do I want to go in my relationship with God, in the relationship with my body, my mind, my friends, family, and finances, right? Actually taking the time to really figure out what is the big audacious desires of my heart in those areas. So we've done that. Now, the next big thing is asking your hard questions, the hard questions. This is where you take the time to truly say yes to where you are, accepting and acknowledging exactly what's happening in your body, what's happening in your relationship with your family, what's happening in your finances, right? Taking the time to really pay attention to that. That's where I really took the time to pay attention to what was going on in my knee. I realized that I can't just, go to physical therapy for 6 to 8 weeks, do the exercises in those 6 to 8 weeks, and then go back to doing whatever I was doing, right? I had to get a trainer who knew how to look at my body and say, oh, okay, you're not balanced, or you're not doing the right thing. So this is what we need to do, right? I needed a trainer to do that. What do you need? That is what you got to do. Ask yourself the hard questions. It's going to be painful, but it's going to be worth it, because you said that you wanted to live your life intentionally. You said that this was important to you, right? And when you do that, you're going to see your life transformed. It really intentional living really depends on knowing the destination. So knowing that dream, acknowledging your dreams, all that kind of stuff, but then knowing your location. It's really like GPS, right? You can't do anything without knowing where you are and knowing where you want to go. So this is this part, knowing where you want to go. Okay. And then truly ask yourself, where am I? How do I feel? What is going on? Right. And then finally begin to close the gap. This is where you begin to ask yourself, what are some things that you can do to close the gap between that big dream, that desire of your relationship, right? Those 6 key relationships, and where you are right now. With my knee, I finally asked myself what I could do, and what I did was get a trainer. Okay. And I talked about that already, right? I got a trainer and I listened to him. We get these things and we like, get all this extra stuff, and then we don't actually listen to what we're supposed to do. Anyway, but that's the whole point, closing that gap. And this is living by principle. There's some things that, you kind of write down and put together, and I work through that in building life plans for people and stuff like that. And if you're interested, then definitely I can help you build out your own life plan. But there's certain things that you do, but these are the basics in living by principle. So listen, that was a drive-by. Okay, with the live by principle process. And I actually have a whole playlist on my YouTube channel called Still Process, how to build a life God can establish. So if you want to see this visually, or you want to just watch a little bit more in depth, then go ahead and check out that playlist. You can find that at SonjaWCoaching on YouTube. Right now, okay, we are down the 2 steps of the intentional living, the stairwell to intentional living. Okay. Next, we acknowledged our dreams. We're making strides to live out those dreams. And now it's time to execute. Okay. And we're going to talk about that next week on intentional living with Sonja W. I am super, super excited about that. Okay. I got my little alarms over here to tell me to stop talking. So if you're catching the replay, I went over to the left or right. My left, you're right. I don't know, to stop my alarms. Anyway, let's get this Dreamboost prayer together, and then I'm gonna let you guys go to get your week off with a bang. So let's go. Lord, help us to say yes to where we are. If it's painful, Lord, show us, strengthen us so that we can take the right steps through it. Show us that there is purpose on the other side of our sober acknowledgement of where we are. Show us the right next step to make. All right, y'all. Well, that is it. I hope that you have an awesome week wherever you are. Make sure that you take the time to truly say yes to where you are this week, okay? See you next week.